For a typical Genshin patch, this don't look half bad.
I agree. They finally added Sandrone and Columbina back to the story after a few patches, who are both fan-favorite characters. Although I still don't agree with Hoyo changing Sandrone's design, since the one she had during the Archon quest was already fine enough.
Yeah, I still don't like the fact how they've been making some of the newer characters more sexualized nowadays to compete with Wuwa. But at least it ain't as bad as Mindless Zone Zero with the path they going down.
Yeah, I'm glad I only played through it until I got to the point where I unlocked banners. Also, I understand a lot of people hate Saint Antis, but in his Menless 3.0 video, he was discussing about how the game is falling off when it comes to Twitch viewership, and the fact that it basically became a porn game after seeing what they did with two of the newer characters, with one of them who apparently has been hyped since the beginning of the game. But enough of that dogshit game for now. I already know Hoyo is gonna have Sneznaya as a way to sell the stellar reactions, like what Nod Cry did for Columbina and Lunar.
Oh, for sure! But this time, they decided to buff some of the older characters and give them some new effects for stellar conduct. And they even gave them their own banner, although I don't know why anyone would pull for them, since Citlali and Columbina will also be having their reruns.
And Columbina will be alongside the Raiden Shogun's 7th banner, who didn't get buffed alongside them for some reason. Especially since Yae Miko and Mizuki both got theirs before her. And they also gave one for Sino, who can now trigger his burst state for a short amount of time when you use his skill, which can be helpful with managing his playstyle a bit more.
It's about time he finally got one, since he was always known for being a downgraded version of Raiden. But we'll have to see how it plays out when the rest of the community is able to use him. On the other hand, Yae Miko is able to use her burst without destroying the turrets. Risley's charged hits allow him to heal more often, and Chi-Chi is apparently now a buffer for stellar conduct from what we know so far.
After all these years of TT being the worst 5-star in the game, they finally decided now was a good time to buff her, out of all times. Yeah, I got a feeling she's gonna get power crept so quick, as well as the rest of these characters, when the Sneznaya characters eventually start to kick in. Anyways, the main event will once again be centered around the Fontaine Film Festival, with Sandrone, who, despite not having a story quest, the event story, on the other hand, will be permanent, with limited rewards starting around the end of the patch, like with the other Hoyo games and Wuthering Waves.
Oh, now that you bring it up, I forgot that they made it to where you can play through older events last year, which they've only done for the Natlan summer event along with the region and this year's Lantern Rite, where they introduced Zebai.
You know, Chang-Su, I don't blame you, since it's pretty much easy to forget, because of the fact that they've only ever used it twice up to this point, when there are so many older event stories, with majority of them being important for introducing certain characters and expanding their stories that newer players will never get to experience.
But regardless of that, I wouldn't recommend setting a newer player up for failure by offering them to try the game out with the bad state it's currently in, and the fact that you're gonna have a lot to catch up on when it comes to the meta. Unless you rather just play for the story, which might feel endless with how long the game has been around.
Yeah, you would be better off trying out Woowa, since I can't recommend Honshit Starbucks after seeing what they did to Arcephorius thanks to a certain wanker who shall not be named, and Triple Z for obvious reasons.
Also, speaking of those two games, are these Genshin devs that fucking retarded? How the hell are they not able to give players a proper skip button 6 years in? Like, bro, who's even asking to skim through dialogue a lot quicker in the first place?
Atsuko? As much as I agree with you, could you refrain from using that word since it's really hurtful towards certain people?
Well, that's just Atsuko speaking her mind as usual, so try not to mind it as much. Although, I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Man, this shit damn near as bad as the artifact loadout situation, which even Shitrail got now. Although you can't use it between different characters like you can in Wuwa, if I remember correctly, since I hardly ever hop on that game nowadays. And we also got the situation with the weekly domains, which these niggas still refuse to fix, despite giving everyone that pointless-ass survey last year, that these stupid motherfuckers already know the answer to, just to not go through with it in the end. There is no reason why we can only farm the same weekly boss once per week, while being split into 3 different materials for specific characters, when the other games let you grind the same exact boss up to 3 times, which is the weekly limit, which I can see why some people don't fuck with it, but at least they only got 1 material. Plus, you can get a character's talents to max a lot quicker compared to Genshin, which be taking around a whole month to get 1 or 2 talents of a new character, when they add a new weekly boss to max level.
You know, Amari, they finally made all of the talent domain materials available after so many years. However, the catch is that it only occurs during the first week of a new banner phase. But on the other hand, it took them so many years, but they finally made a voiced world quest where we explore the moon with Columbina.
They should have done the same for Aluga's world quest, where we meet him for the first time. And even last year with Citlali and Anju, which was hyped since the beginning of Natlan during Kanich's story quest, which I tried explaining to the devs multiple times that they need to do.
Good thing you quit consulting for them, so you don't have to worry about talking to them like they're a brick wall, like that one meme, Muji. Also, I'm so much more interested to play through it for obvious reasons. I just know Evelyn, Elena, and Cynthia feel the same exact way.
All of a sudden, I'm reminded of a particular so-called friend of ours who abandoned us to join Calvin's group years ago. Anyways, there will also be another shooting range event and the rerun of the dancing event from 6.1, where Mualani and Nilu met for the first time, which felt out of place since it wasn't voiced.
Yeah, I was starting to think the SAG-AFTRA strike was back on since it was diabolical to have Mualani and Nilu's conversation unvoiced.
I know what you mean, Amari. Good thing the one during this patch will be voiced since I noticed Mualani's mouth moving in the live stream. Also, before we forget, Citlali and Charlotte will both be getting their skins, which look really interesting.
I understand it fits her character and all, but can Citlali get any more lazier? Also, I like how they made Charlotte look like an actual detective, despite there being a few things I don't like about it.
You know, I never liked how certain anime characters be having sleeves that don't connect. Like, what's even the point of having them in the first place?
Yeah, I get what you mean, Amari. The way I see it, it just looks really goofy and out of place through my experience with examining designs for my future ideas.
And finally, we have another update for Genshin's method of quote-unquote not wanting to make money, shitty-ass Wonderland, which honestly isn't worth talking about at this point.
Yeah, I haven't touched that game mode since I last tried it with Amari, Brandon, and Shui Ming nearly a year ago, since it got boring after a while. Which now leads us to the Snezhnaya preview, which is looking pretty mind-blowing so far. Let's just hope that it lives up to the hype.
After seeing how Natlan and Nod Cry failed, and how Wuwa continues to shit on them, I highly doubt it. As surprising as it was seeing the Traveler holding an assault rifle, and the preview that they showed for the storyline, they really need to prove a lot that they can compete with Wuwa and give us better quality of life after seeing Rina Shita, Lahai Roy, and recently their Cyberpunk collab. Or else more people are gonna quit. I understand Genshin has been improving their story presentation since they now have competition, but at what cost is it, since the game itself has so many unsolved problems? And also, Natlan was an exploration power creep, and the whole point of Nod Cry was pretty much to sell Columbina and the lunar meta with these enemy mechanics that benefit from using them. And oh boy, Snezhnaya will most likely not be any different with the upcoming stellar meta. So in other words, the Genshin Snezhnaya livestream is their last chance to redeem themselves.
Until then, I think we should end the video here since it's getting way too long. If you guys enjoyed today's session in the Garden of Roses, don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe for more of our content in the future.
The Garden of Roses. That name has a nice ring to it. Also, Ziyue here tells me that you're the avatar of the Mayan god of fire, Shibalanke. You know, we actually happened to run into him and a couple of his friends earlier on our way to grab a smoothie from Ling Dynasty with Miyuji. It's a shame that he wasn't able to join us today.
Yeah, he and Hannah went to see a movie with Solana and Rayana, but I'll be sure to have him join next time since Wuwa's 3.5 livestream will be dropping next week.
Awesome! I'll be joining as well. Hey, we should also invite Rihanna again for a segment that I just thought of before we start reacting to that live stream. since she really loves reading and listening to stories.
That's a wonderful idea, May. I don't know about Ziyue, but I'll be down to join.
Well, Miyuji, it depends, since I've been pretty busy these days.
Yeah, the same goes for me, but I'll see what I can do. Anyways, for those of you that are still pulling for Lucilla, the Cyberpunk banners, or waiting on the 3.5 characters, we're wishing you good luck with getting your desired character.
However, for Genshin's case, you really gonna need the amount of luck you can get with pulling Sandrone, as well as Colombina and the other reruns for those of y'all that missed out on them.